And welcome to the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. As usual, I believe I have a wonderful show for you today. And one of the reasons is that I believe that as business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals that would watch this show, many of you have a story inside. And not just a story inside, you have a burning desire to get a book created. How many of you really would sit there and say, you know what, yeah, I have a good story. I have something that other people would really learn from, grow from, and may gain a great deal of wisdom. Maybe it's what, well, I call it your 9-pound pearls. It's those pearls of wisdom that you paid more than you ever imagined for, and it changed your life. And when you tell others about that, when you share that 9-pound pearl, it changes their life as well from receiving essentially your wisdom that you purchased. My guest today is Mae Hoover. She's an author, a publisher, and a speaker, and a laughologist of all things. Mae Hoover, thank you so much for being on the show. It's always great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
I'm just so excited. We have talked for several years now, and one of the things I appreciate about you more than you'd ever know is that you're one of these people that we met, we talked, I was able to share a couple of ideas. You went out and did them. So tell me your story. How did you become an author, speaker, and a laughologist?
Well, my husband and I started out as missionaries to a primitive tribe of people in Mexico. And but my goal was to become a speaker. I've always made people laugh. I've always been a storyteller. Even as a child, I kept people laughing. And so when we came back out of the mission field, I said, okay, I want to be a public speaker. So I went to Toastmasters, and I worked my way through to advanced Toastmaster. But I still wasn't getting any speaking gigs. And so I hired a wonderful coach named Patrick Dewar.
I didn't realize I was that, but go ahead.
And so, Patrick, you told me in order to be a public speaker, you need a book, because most speakers make more money from the sale of the book than they do from speaking.
Right.
So I always had been a writer as well, but I just never had a book published. So I sat down at the computer and wrote a book.
And what was your first book?
My first book was called To Climb a Mountain, because we were in the mountains of Mexico. And the stories that either told how I did or didn't adjust to primitive living, and they were really funny. We found a lot of fun in everything that we did, and in most everything that we do.
Well, even beyond that, though, Mae, that book, for one, was one of those things that it was a great achievement to see you do it. And then you took it further and you created an audio out of the book, which I thought made all the sense in the world, because the whole time I'm reading it, I'm hearing you tell this story. And so when I had the opportunity to hear you tell the story, I was laughing my tail off all the way through the book, and the stories about you making bread. You know, what was it, no yeast, and the thing just blew up on you, and all kinds of other...
Too much yeast.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah.
Too much yeast, and it kind of ran away from you, almost literally.
It's almost like a Lucille Ball story.
Well, it sounded like that to me. But the thing is that you didn't stop there. Once you created that, then you went on to do what?
Well, my next book then was called The Journey to and From the Mountain, which I did not bring with me today. And it's more the story of how we became Christians, how we were called to be missionaries, something about the ministry, and then how we readjusted back into American culture. And that was a bigger shock.
I wouldn't doubt, because the culture that you were in Mexico was like the poorest of the poor tribes in all of Mexico. Is that correct?
Yeah, they still live in caves and wear a loincloth and live at a subsistence level.
Wow.
And so we didn't have electricity, and it was quite an amazing time.
And how long were you down there?
Well, we were only in the village 5 years, and we didn't go until we were nearly 40.
Oh, wow.
So
That is quite the story. And I know that the missionary field is something that's changed tremendously. Not as many, especially Americans, are going into the field. So it's a world of difference. How would somebody get a hold of your books?
You can order it from my website, Foundation for Publication, or you can call me at my phone number is on the screen there.
Yeah, very good. Well, I will tell you, folks, if you've ever had the desire to get your book written, published, promoted, and a system for doing so, you want to talk to Mae Hoover. You can visit with her on our website. And you said it's
foundationforpublication.com.
Foundation for Publication on the screen. And so that's something that any of you can look into and see if you can let that 9-pound pearl roll into the marketplace. This is the Business Spotlight. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. Today my guest is Mae Hoover. Mae is an author, speaker, laughologist, and a few other things that have to do with helping you get your story into the marketplace. So often people are held up by all kinds of excuses of why they don't think they can write their book, and Mae solves most of them. Mae, thanks so much for doing the show.
Thanks for having me.
I want to look at what you do that's different, unique, special. I mean, there's lots of people out there that say, oh, we'll get your book published. But I think you have a system for it, don't you?
Yeah, I meet with the person who wants to tell their story. God gives us so much wisdom in the things of life, and I've lived a lot of life. And so I think it's our obligation to share those, like you say, pearls of wisdom that you have to get other people to understand and to benefit from what you've been through. So if someone talks to me about a book, I meet with them every week. I go over what they've written, and I either edit or critique. I don't ever change what the writer writes. I sometimes change how it's written, or I maybe smooth it up a little, make it a little bit more, change this sentence to go there. Because there are all kinds of ways that make your book more readable, And, the average reader in the United States reads at a 6th grade level.
Yeah, I do. I'm very familiar. The 227 words a minute is kind of the average, which is about as fast as you can read the words in your head. Mm-hmm. But what was really sad is to hear that the average high school student, graduate, that doesn't go to college may only read one other book in their whole life. And the average college graduate may only read just a few more than that. So reading is something, there's such a value in it. But the cool thing is that with your example, you helped them create the book. But then you went on and you had audio. We're even talking about ways that you can get video done on reading the book and creating an audio and a video version of the same thing. Mm-hmm. So tremendous value. But what are some of the steps that I really want to say you take beyond the helping them write it? What else do you do?
Well, I do a workshop occasionally called Jumpstart Your Book Writing, and help the person realize why they are afraid to write.
Right.
And how to overcome those fears, because that I think everybody has a fear. They say, well, I can't write. But, you know, there's software that you can talk. If you can tell a story, you can talk into this software and it prints your words. And then I have also people that will take, in fact, a friend that you gave me the name for, she can take a tape recording and transcribe it into printed word.
She transcribes all of these. I send her the video. She sends me back a transcript, and it's fabulous, very reasonable in cost. So, and that's something that a lot of people just don't realize, is that all the excuses of, oh, I have to write it, and then I got to get it typewritten, then I got to edit it, and then I got to da-da-da-da-da. I mean, there's a lot to a book, isn't there?
Well, and a lot of people are afraid because their grammar is not good. That's why they hire me.
Right.
Because I'm pretty good at grammar.
Well, I should have hired you a long time ago, because my transcriptionist laughs at the way I speak, and she has to correct it in the transcription. So I'm thankful that she edits while she transcribes. But the point is that there are so many pieces, aren't there? Once they get the book done, as far as written, it's now in a manuscript form. What happens? How do you help with that?
Okay, I can format it for either an ebook, which is a different format than a printed book.
Right.
And then I can help them get it self-published through Amazon. Amazon has a program called Create Space, which will self-publish your book.
I have several friends that are published on Amazon's Create Space. Love it.
Right.
Great results. But what once they get it up on Amazon, aren't there other key?
You have to promote your book. You cannot just write it and expect it to go. The first book I wrote, actually, a number of years ago, was a cookbook. And I had it wire spiral bound so that it could be easily opened and used. And I got it was Borders bookstore to carry the book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so it wire spiral bound did not have a spine that said the name of the book.
Oh.
And it was a small book, and so they put it in a shelf of 7,000 cookbooks, and nobody ever bought it unless I sent them there to ask for that book.
Ouch.
So that was not a good thing.
Well, even on Amazon, one of the things that you hear is that the average author sells about 10 books on Amazon, average. There are lots of things that you can do to really increase the odds, aren't there?
Yes.
And when we come back from this break, one of the things that we'll do is talk more about really what are some keys, and then who else, who really should be talking to you. This is the Business Spotlight. We're trying to give you ways to grow your influence so that your affluence can grow. I'm sure most of you would like more money anyways. We'll be right back after we hear from our sponsor. Welcome back to the Business Spotlight. Today we're talking with Mae Hoover. She's an author, speaker, a laughologist, and a publisher. So one of the things that we want to do is give you some ideas and some tools that you could use, especially her and her services, to get your ideas out of your brain onto paper and into the marketplace to create more influence, affluence, and presence in your marketplace. Mae, thanks again. I want to talk this time a little bit more about who is the ideal person that should be contacting you.
Well, I think those people who have either survived a traumatic experience or have gone through something that will help other people. And I have done business books for people that, I have a man that I'm coaching now that's doing relationship sales. He's an excellent salesperson. And it's a little different than most of your sales. So I've done business books, I've done children's books. I'm working with a lady that's doing just purely fiction, just an adorable story. And but there are ways that you can go. I'm going to do, right now, I'm having one of my ebooks made into a published book.
Now, isn't that one of the tactics, though, for a lot of people that may even already have an ebook out there, or they may have a manuscript out there, or a white paper, to take that, in a sense, and repurpose that? Yes.
And I think if you're going to use as a speaking thing, you really need a printed book.
Right.
So the book that I'm having done is called When Your Mama Calls You Mama, because my mother had dementia and she lived with us for the last 6 years. And so there's some funny stories in it. It's kind of sad, but it gives them a lot of tips for the caregiver.
Right.
And I'm having that published by a company called Redemption Press.
Nice.
And they are going to set up a website for it. They're going to promote it. They're going to do a whole lot of things. They're going to provide the legal part, getting it into the Library of Congress and doing all the... A lot of people are afraid of a copyright, not having a copyright.
Right.
But if you've got it in your computer dated when you did it, it is copyrighted.
Oh, nice.
But you can do a legal thing, and you can do it on your own through the internet. You can just go on to the National Patent Office, and it's $35 to get all the paperwork to copyright. Now, you can't copyright an idea.
Right.
You can only copyright words. So, and somebody can use your same idea, and it would be a completely different book than what you've written.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, in fact, sometimes many authors wonder, they get an idea for a book, and then sure enough, somebody else comes out with it about the same time. And I always wonder if there aren't just certain frequencies that people are tapping into. And, if you don't take action, which is a real key to even what we're talking about today, if you've got a vision, if you've got a message, take action. Mm-hmm. And they should contact you at the Foundation.
Foundationforpublication.com.
Foundationforpublication.com. And they can get some of your books, but they can also connect with you. And then once you work with them, you'll take them through all the pieces. Because if I'm not mistaken, there are probably 50 pieces in creating a book, aren't there?
Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah, you've got to have a website. You've got to have your social media.
Right.
To promote. You've got to be members of network groups where you talk as much as you can.
Right.
And you need to promote yourself as a speaker.
So you're talking about a marketing company.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
But I agree. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is it's not just writing the book.
No, it's a business.
If you want it, you're starting a business that has this as its widget. In a sense, this is the message. Mm-hmm. And just because you write it, they don't run to your door, do they?
No, they sure don't.
When you get through, well, let me ask you, is there a short story you could tell me about somebody that you helped and the result that they got? Somebody that
Well, yeah, one of my other coaches, Malcolm Upton, is... I helped him organize his book. He's a good writer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know Malcolm. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So I just helped him organize and get it into an order that was, saleable. And he since has published it, and
nice.
I think he's doing very well.
So you actually will help people at different stages. I mean,
yeah.
Whether you can take them from idea in their head to create space, mm-hmm. or maybe even a publishing house, all the way through the process, or just help them with different pieces.
Right.
They can engage with you for in time, take you as far as use your services as long as they need to, and continue down the path that they want to go on their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's unique in this space, isn't it?
Yeah, and today it's so easy to publish. You don't have to go through the traditional publishers.
I totally agree. Folks, if you've got an idea that you want to get in the marketplace, you've got some wisdom, you've got a book, contact Mae. Get with her at the Foundation for Publication. This is the Business Spotlight. We've got one more segment coming up, and you'll love it. Today is all about helping you get your message out. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Business Spotlight. Today we're talking with Mae Hoover. She's an author, speaker, publisher, and laphologist. And we're talking about helping you get your message, your idea, your, I call it 9-pound pearl, into the marketplace. Mae, thanks again. I want to get in this time to, how does somebody hire you? What do they got to do?
I charge by the hour, or I have a package that they can, go from start to finish.
And they start with what? Just go to the website, right?
Yeah, they can go to the website or they can call me, and I'll just be happy to meet with them. And what I found out as I wrote my own books, it's exciting and thrilling to have your name on a book. It's my book. But what I found out, it's even more thrilling to help somebody else have their name on a book. And I've helped over 50 people to become published.
That's nice. That's really good. So when they contact you, you visit with them either by phone or face-to-face, right? Mm-hmm. And then do you set together a plan of what needs to happen? What's the process?
Yeah, we go over, first of all, what's their topic, and what research have they done to get ready for that? Because people don't just want to know your opinion, they want to know if your opinion's backed up by other people.
Right.
So it takes some research to get ready. And then I talk to them about some of the details of writing. For instance, the first sentence of your book determines whether the reader is going to read the first chapter. And the last sentence of that chapter is going to determine whether they're going to read the next chapter. And how you end the book determines if they're going to buy your next book or tell somebody else about it. And so your first sentence needs to grab the reader. You can start with a question or a quotation, or you can just do something that just grabs their attention, something shocking.
Well, it sounds like they could take some notes from the old soap operas.
Yes.
But actually, in my opinion, it'd be look at certain TV series, mm-hmm. Like 24 or some of these other long-term series, because they always have a quick start. They're in the middle of action. There's something happening within the first 4 or 5 minutes. They have a crisis that occurs, and they always end with the cliffhanger where Flash Gordon it looks like he's going to die, How do you make it out of that one, right?
Yeah, well, I was working with one lady, and I, tutored her or coached her, however you want to say, through several chapters. And her writing, it was a murder serial killer thing. And it was as good as NCIS. I mean, it was good. Well, she hit a bump in the road. She couldn't figure out how to get the character out of where she was. And she just stopped. This excellent writer, and she just stopped. And I called her and I said, what's she doing? She said, well, I'm decided I'm going to do a romance. So
The
she
shiny
went
object.
completely off to that. But it's the stick-to-itiveness, and that's what I offer is, somebody to be accountable to. If you don't have to have somebody to report what you've done that week, you're apt not to do anything that week.
I completely agree. What are some of the titles or types of books? You say you've helped about 50. That's actually a lot of material, isn't it? I mean,
I've done poetry books. I've helped, of course, with fiction, and I've helped with Sunday school materials. I've helped with like I said, business books, sales books, and then, just personal experience. Mm-hmm. Those are fun things because they teach the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Everything that's happened will happen again.
Old dad dude said it a long time ago. It's supposed to be pretty wise,
Yeah. So what's happened to you has also happened to somebody else. Not
right.
maybe exactly the way, but what you have experienced and how you overcame that is going to be a help to that person.
I completely agree. I think pain is kind of universal. Everybody feels some. And you can meet people in the pain.
Right.
And then show them how, maybe how you got out. And it might be oxygen to somebody out there.
Right.
That's reading it. Is that what you found?
Yeah, that's it. And the reason we go through things, the Bible tells us, is so that we can be a comfort to others who are going through that.
Yeah, I used to call it, most of us have been through a crucible in our life. And there's only one thing that's forged in a crucible or a furnace of affliction, and that's gold from the refiner's fire. And it's that gold that you pull out of your heart that you offer to somebody else that can change their world.
Right.
So they just get a hold of you how, Mae?
They can call me at 817-229-4895, or they can go on my website at foundationforpublication.com, or they can email me at mae@maehoover.com.
Very good, very good. Well, I am so thankful to have you on the show. I've been trying to get you here for years, and it's such an honor to get you here. I know you're a busy speaker, and you do a lot of work especially in the Metroplex, and in helping people laugh a little bit more than they have in the past or recently. So I'm really thankful for that. Folks, if you have a message to get out, I would encourage you to get a hold of Mae at foundationforpublication.com. She is a gifted author, speaker, and laughologist. She will help you finish your story, get it out, and get it into the marketplace. This is the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar, and we'll see you next time.